you have 2 points. You have new money and an old system. And that old system has eaten new money alive generation after generation for as long as this country's been around. If you've got people with a lot of money and not a lot of education, they are preyed upon. They can be as famous, and we can love them every time they score a touchdown, win a championship. But they are preyed upon no differently than their grandmothers are preyed upon and predatory lended to in the communities that they came from. I can't tell you how many times when I'm sitting down trying to explain to an athlete's manager or agent an opportunity to invest in something that is going to make him money and also do good for his community, but the circle around him or her does not come from that community or never took the time to understand that community. And they are going to just, if they don't see an end for them, they're like, why are we doing this deal? But at the same time, the owner of your team is investing with me. The owner of your team is investing with me. The commissioner of your league is rolling with us. But you got this small circle who's like, if it doesn't immediately impact me or what I want to do. So how do we build that bridge? Because the education is so important, and that's why it's so important. This crowd here, people who deal with artists and athletes all the time, you are the biggest bridge to creating opportunities for people that need it the most, because these athletes are creating massive amounts of wealth, but until they can get to the point to where they can have a team of people around them, a kitchen table if you would, of people that they trust. And so for me, the hardest part, I would say this, is like Kevin Garnett is someone that's on our board. Kevin's a Hall of Famer. He's Mr. Amazing, right? Kevin told me he kept $3 million under his mattress until like 7 years in the league. That's crazy. But I get it. Because he came from somewhere where they were like, if you got money, somebody's coming to get it from you. Hide it, shield it, right? So when he joined our coalition of work we do with minority-owned banks, and then you get to the point where Kevin's like, well, I want to own the Minnesota Timberwolves. And if anybody in sports can tell where this is going. How many players have we seen show up saying, I want to own the team that I played for, only to get dismissed either ceremoniously or some kind of way it just doesn't happen? And that's because they work for these teams and give their whole life and professional career to these teams, but don't understand the business of sports. The business of sports, only as a fraction of that is bouncing the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball. These owners look at teams, look at players and was like, interesting, you want to own a team, but you don't even know how we make money. Who would hire somebody to run a business that doesn't understand how it actually makes money? So you can't fault the owners. Owning an NBA, NFL, or MLS team in America is equivalent to being a knight. That's America's version of knighthood. It takes one to make one. Somebody in that club has to say, you are in. And the only time they say you are in is you have to understand the business of how they make money. So not only do we have to educate each other on what the game is, if you got athletes in this position, getting them in a position, I hope we get a chance to talk about this today, they need to learn the business of sport.